Growing up in the Denver metro area, Fort Collins was so far, and I think I'd only been there maybe once, all the way up until I was 18 years old. Until recently, it's been amazing the growth that's been happening in Fort Collins, hence why we've been covering so much of the city in itself.
Yeah, and so a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, if you're talking all about Fort Collins, why do you live in Denver? Well, today we're actually going to give you 7 reasons why we chose Denver over living in Fort Collins, even though we actually really love it up there.
Yep, let's go. All right, welcome back to the channel, you guys. You're watching Living in Denver with your Colorado real estate family, Pete and Chelsea Sweeney, and I'm not wearing my glasses today, so if I can't read our notes, then don't hold it against me, all right? All right, so first things first, before we really dive into this, guys, I want to give you a real heads up. Licensed real estate agent here. I'm always helping you with your purchases for real estate in Colorado. Like I said, we love doing these videos so much, guys, and we appreciate all the content, the feedback that we're kind of receiving from you guys on your end as well, too. But ultimately, we're here to be a guide for you, right? When you're coming in and moving to the Colorado area, we want to help you with your real estate purchases, and we're so grateful for all of you who are reaching out to us.
Yeah, so if you're excited about the topic today, we're going to be covering why we chose Denver over Fort Collins. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Also hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Because we're in the middle of a series, we want you to be notified every single time a new video comes out. I know a lot of you are following along, so hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then you'll be notified every single time.
And of course, we're going to put our phone number right below. That way you can text or call us anytime. You're going to get us personally. You're not going to get someone else. So always reach out. It's most likely going to be her.
Or me.
Yeah. Most likely going to be Chelsea. But like I said, we're always here to answer any questions you have, any texts that you might have. So let's go and check it. Everything Fort Collins and Denver from the sky's view, I guess. We'll do some mix. We'll do this right here. See ya. All right, you think I'm joking about not being able to read our show notes today, but seriously, I am so blind without my glasses.
What is it, astigmatism?
No, just blind as a bat.
Me too.
Oh, really?
But I noticed in our last video that we recorded with lights, get the reflection and stuff, and it was so annoying. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and wing this, even though I can't see you really right now. I'll try my best. So
He's the only one that probably notices the lights in his glasses. But
I'm always critiquing every little thing to make sure it's the best for you guys out there. So
oh my gosh, he'd rather be blind. It's fine. Anyways,
right.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about 7 things today and 7 reasons that we chose to live in Denver instead of Fort Collins, and which is kind of confusing, right? We've been covering this big series on Fort Collins, but it's because we love Fort Collins. But there are 7 pretty big reasons as to why we chose Denver.
Yep. First one's being the airport. I mean, it doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a difference or whatever, but guys, for those of you who have been watching us for a little while, we have a house in Florida. We love to vacation. We love taking our anniversary trips. So having that convenient trip over to the airport is huge to us. And we're looking at easily, what is it, like a 45-minute difference between us living here or living more in Fort Collins. You know, that's an extra 45 minutes that we would have to drive if we decide to move more north. Yeah,
so just to give you some reference, like from Denver to the airport, it's about 30 minutes. And that's, you know, obviously not in high traffic time. And if you're coming from Fort Collins, it's an hour and a half. So it's pretty big deal. And, you know, we've talked about this in some of our other videos, but if you haven't and you're, you know, brand new to us, we'll give you kind of a heads up. You know, it has made it a little bit more convenient for people coming from Fort Collins to get to the airport, but it's still not great. And that's because we have a tollway. What is it? Which tollway is it called?
E470.
Did we take C470 last night?
So, yeah, so it's confusing. Whenever you hear about our tollway, so E470 is the part you have to pay for. C470 is the part that's free, which is on the west side of I-25. So.
Without a picture, it's a little confusing. I'm a local, and I still am like, wait, which one was it? Anyways, it is a little easier for Fort Collins now to get to the airport, but you're going to be paying a pretty penny to use the toll to get over there. Whereas coming from Denver, It's free all the way there, and it's a lot closer.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's actually, and if you hang out until number 7, wait till number 7. There, we strategically planned everything, and the airport had a lot of involvement in why we strategically planned where we live currently. So stick around to 7, and we'll kind of dive into that a little bit more. So what's number 2?
All right, number 2 is access to everything. Convenience.
Yeah, and so it's just, I mean, this is a total first world problem in my mind, but I love like a variety of being able to do whatever. I want to know that I could go to the Walmart over there or over here, right? And so
Or
I feel like,
Costco.
yeah, every time we go up to Fort Collins, it's like, oh, Walmart, you have to go all the way to the south side of town, or they might only have 1 or 2. Yeah, Costco, they
you
have
have
one
one.
for like the entire area. That just won't do with me. I mean, I got one by my mom. I got one by us. I know that we got one in Westminster. It's
If you're new to us, you know that we hang out at Costco on Saturdays because we're that cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot bigger, right? Denver's a lot bigger. And so you have so many more options
Yeah.
than you would in Fort Collins. Now, that's not to say you don't have options in Fort Collins. It's just you can be picky and you could go to different ones. And
like I said, it's a total like just. I feel like a brat even talking about this right now. It's
You
like,
kinda
oh,
sound
I'm
like
spoiled
one,
brat. I was like, hey, can I have oh man, yeah, that's. Don't judge
fine.
me too much. I'm sure there's plenty of you out there just like that, right? Why do you think they have a Starbucks on every single corner of every single city block, right? And so,
Well, thank God
we
they
love our
do
convenience.
because ours have changed recently and I can't figure it out for the life of me.
Yeah.
And if any, I keep saying this, but I drink a lot of coffee, okay? I drink a lot of coffee. Anyways, okay, that kind of goes into the third reason, and that's city life. And I have to be honest with you, we differ a little bit in number 3 as far as city life goes. So I'll let you start.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you right now. So I have a dream house that I have been envisioning for like the last 10 years that I really love. And one thing that I really love about it is it backs to a busy street. I don't know what it is. I grew up a city boy.
City folk.
The entire time, even when I was a kid and growing up in Arvada, we lived on like a semi-farm, but I love, there's something about the congestion or the hecticness, the loudness of the city that I personally enjoy, and I know that you're gonna have a different opinion on this.
That's not something I need in my life. And that's one thing I actually really like about Fort Collins. So I guess I'll speak on behalf of Fort Collins here for a second. But, Fort Collins is just not as busy. It's not as big. It's not as busy. It doesn't really have the same city feel that Fort Collins does. And I don't really need that, but it's important to Peter. And so one of like the third
So I wouldn't say
reason-
it's important. It's like a soothing thing, right? It's like having your blankie or
Your
there's
blankie.
something about like I enjoy trips when we go, and like we have friends that are out in Nebraska, going out and visiting them and having that quietness. But there's just something about me. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get back to the loudness. I want to see the traffic, and it's just so. It's like if you've ever talked to someone who grew up next to a railroad track. They seriously, when they go somewhere quiet, they can't sleep because they're used to falling asleep to the sound of the train. And so there's just something about that in me. It clicks, and
By
it's
the
just-
way, we are not comparing Nebraska to Fort Collins because it is really different.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
it is a lot less city in Fort Collins. And that's why a lot of people really love it up there if that's for you. So
Yep.
one of the biggest things about number 3 and being city life, and especially even just in our relationship, is that it really depends on what you're looking for when it comes to that. And you're going to get more city in Denver.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I cannot read right now without my glasses, but I was like, what's the fourth one here? I'm like pulling the hole. I don't know.
I can read them. You can just shoot in the dark here.
I'm going to
okay?
try that. Yeah, seriously.
We
Let's
try
do
not
it.
to take too many notes. We just give it to you how it is, which is why it's very unscripted.
We have
when
bullet
you have
points,
us.
though. We like to have bullet points.
We like to have bullet points. Otherwise, we'll just talk for hours. And
Yeah.
you're like, what in the world are the Sweeneys talking about? Okay, so the fourth one is the suburbs.
Yep, the surrounding suburbs. And like I
Yes.
said, Denver is plentiful in surrounding suburbs.
Yes.
And a lot of times when we're talking about the surrounding suburbs, we're talking about the surrounding cities, right? You have Denver, which is like your main hub, picture like a web. You have your central part, and then it kind of branches out to all these others. And it's like, with that, it's just you have so many different options of where you want to be.
many
And there's so
options.
many times that when I'm talking to my clients, it's like, guys, you have so many choices when it comes to where you want to live.
Yeah.
And so it's great that you have that, whereas Fort Collins, you really don't. I mean,
You
you have
have Loveland.
literally you have Fort Collins, and you have Loveland, you have
And then
Greeley, and then you have Windsor.
Okay, yeah, but just to get
Johnstown.
to Greeley, it's like 30 minutes, like,
Yeah.
heart to heart. It's still 30, like heart of Fort Collins to heart of Greeley. It's still 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
We're talking about like these suburbs are all very close to another.
Yeah.
You can cross over from one to the next city and might not even be that long, you know? And so there's just so many options and you're not traveling so far to get there. So because Fort Collins even has things in the middle, but like it takes a minute to get there. And so Peter and I have lived from almost Golden all the way to, well, I guess you have family in Brighton, but we've lived all the way up into Thornton.
Well,
And-
technically I lived in Brighton in my first house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's covering what? Gosh, Arvada, Westminster.
Well, I lived in Lafayette.
Yeah. Wheat Ridge. I mean, we've literally lived in a lot of the surrounding kind of north suburbs, to be honest with you, of Denver.
Yeah.
And there are so many good options around Denver that you could pretty much pick and choose what you want depending on what you're looking for and what your life looks like. Whereas you just don't have those options around Fort Collins. You just don't.
You don't. Like, so they have, and we actually, the series that we're doing right now over in Fort Collins is kind of highlighting the best neighborhoods surrounding Fort Collins in the north, south, east, and west. And they have some great neighborhoods. They do.
Oh, they're beautiful.
It's amazing. But I'm going to tell you
Yes.
that they all have a very similar feel to them. We're all, total suburbia. Where the cities, the outlying cities of Denver, you really don't have that. You do have some highly suburbs area like Broomfield and such, or you have more of those downtown areas, like Highlands and Tennyson and stuff right outside of Denver.
multiples of those,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like you have this plethora of different cities that you can kind of choose from. And I mean, it's just whatever flavor you like, right?
Yeah. You just have a lot more options and
Yeah.
we like that.
Yeah.
Especially because we've clearly moved a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Luckily, we've been in this house for 3 years, but before that, Peter, I guess the longest we were in a house was 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know.
We like to
So-
bounce around. It's fine. It's fine. We grow in our families. Okay, so number 5 is the light rail.
Light rails, and this is it's not going to be the reason that you're thinking about right now.
Yes.
Like a big reason why I was heavily when I was investing, doing fix and flips back in the day and such. One thing that I always tried to target was the light rail. Why? Because it raises your property values, right? And so that was something that I always really targeted. But here's to say also, too, if you want to live on the outskirts of Denver, you have that light rail for transportation going into downtown Denver,
Right.
which is huge.
It is nice.
Personally, for us, like I said, we don't take it too often, but we do. I mean, even with our Airbnb, like we made sure it was right next to a light rail. That way, people who came and stayed in our Airbnb, guess
And
what?
people
Take the light rail
ask.
downtown. Oh, yeah.
People
yeah.
ask all the time, do I have to drive? Is there any other transportation? Because they knew they wanted to go down there and explore and have a good time in Denver, and they didn't want to drive. And so we knew that, and we always look for that. So is it because we don't personally go to the heart of Denver as often as most people do? I mean, we have families, so we're not partying as much anymore, but still, it's really important for your property value. It's nice for accessibility when people
Yep.
do come and stay. I mean, it's just there's something to say about accessibility straight to downtown.
And on that too, like even though Fort Collins doesn't have a light rail station, they have a very good public transit system. With the bus and such. So that's great to know that they do actually have great public transit there. It's just not the light rail. That's
Right.
all. Yep.
Yeah.
So
and usually when people are coming here from out of town, they want to see Denver, and so having the light rail and being somewhere close to it gives you, straight access to downtown. So.
yep, that's true.
Okay.
I'm sitting here waiting for her to read. I'm trying
Stop
my.
rushing me.
I'm like.
Stop rushing me.
I don't want to look down too often. You guys might start
He's
seeing a
feisty.
bald spot back here or something.
Oh my God, he's something else today. Okay, so we're talking about number 6, and that is.
I can't read.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh,
Would you
okay.
just chill? Being centrally located for real estate.
Yeah, and so this is the one when you want to hang out to 7-4. But I mean, I can do real estate in say like South Aurora or up in Fort Collins, just being centrally located with it being Denver. And so when I'm constantly helping people out, I know that it's only going to take me at most 45 minutes for the southernmost tip, and then at 45 minutes to the northernmost tip. And that's huge, especially in business. And say if I lived on the south side of say of Aurora, guess what? That's taking me 2 hours to get all the way up to Fort Collins.
Yeah.
So it's good to know.
So say you're a client and you're moving here. Here's another thing. A lot of our clients move here for jobs and things like that. Well, guess where majority of the jobs are? Denver. Denver has a ton of jobs. Of course, Fort Collins has a lot of jobs, but they're very specific jobs. They're heavy in a couple different industries. Whereas Denver, I mean, you name it. Like Denver has the job. So if somebody's
Yeah.
moving here for a job, most likely it's going to be around Denver somewhere. And if you, in our market right now, if Peter's having to go and show you a house and there's 10 other people looking and you want to submit an offer really fast, you're not going to be wanting to wait on him for 2 hours to get there.
That's true.
And so it's just really helpful that at any moment, especially helping clients, that he can get wherever they need to be all across the major areas that we see a lot of our clients moving to.
Yep, very true.
Okay, so if you've lasted this long, which is about probably 15 minutes so far.
I'd say 14 minutes.
Even with the intro,
Yeah.
he's so hold on, I'm gonna pause it. No, I'm just kidding. Then we're gonna kind of give you a solution here. When we were talking about this, we're like, it's really hard because we don't really live like in Denver, right? I mean, yes,
the Denver proper,
definitely closer to Denver. So we have a question for you. Maybe you can't choose between Fort Collins and Denver. And number 7 is, why choose? Because we live not smack dab in the middle, but there are a ton of places right in the middle of the two. And so number 7 is, don't choose it all. Yeah. Don't choose Denver over Fort Collins. Don't choose Fort Collins over Denver. Join us and go in the middle.
Don't choose it all. Shouldn't it be like, don't put all your eggs in one basket? Am I the one who wrote that title? It sounds like something I would write. Don't choose it all.
All right. Anyways, talk about it.
The biggest thing is we're not like centrally in between Denver and Fort Collins in itself, but we did strategically, just like I said, chose where we're at so that we can have access to, Fort Collins or South Aurora super fast. Our house that we purchased right now, we're literally right off the tollway. So it's like if I need to take a quick trip all the way down south, boom, I got the tollway right there. I'm on the northernmost part of the Denver metro area. So guess what? If I need to go up to Fort Collins, I am on the edge, literally where the traffic stops. And I can just shoot up north really quick. And
we're right next to I-25. So we talked about the toll, which is E470.
E470, yep.
But if you don't know, our major highway going north and south through pretty much Denver to Fort Collins is I-25, Interstate 25. And that we are also about a couple blocks off of that. There are a lot of places in between Denver and Fort Collins that people don't really know about. Okay, you're going to have to tell me. Frederick,
and also I'm going to preface this. I had a word in my mind. I'm like, boom. And then it didn't just do. So I'm gonna preface. There you go. Whatever.
I'm not usually the wordsmith, by the way.
So before we go into this, just give you guys a little teaser here. We're gonna be doing a series after our Fort Collins series that's gonna be talking about this right here. So you're gonna want to hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important because there are a lot of cities. Cities. I feel like weird calling them cities because it is smaller, but a lot of cities that are up and coming. So
blowing up.
Part of this whole plan of where we are is that there is a plan to close in the corridor, I-25 corridor, which means that closing in Denver to Fort Collins and all of those cities in there and building, and there's a ton of building, right? Where we live now didn't exist not too long ago, and people are like, what? You live where? Like,
oh yeah.
And people will come up here like, oh my God, do you remember this is all fields? Well, that's exactly what's happening north of us, and it's going to continue all the way to Fort Collins.
Yeah, they're saying pretty soon you're going to be able to drive from Denver all the way to Fort Collins with no empty land whatsoever, and so that's something that, and that, like I said, we're going to kind of really hit on this in this new series, talking about these cities that a lot of people really don't know too much about.
And we're going to give you a teaser right now because I'm going to make him recite them all. We're going to have to try to go through it together. But because there are a lot of places in between, so you don't have to choose, including, this is what I was starting on when you interrupted me.
Oh, it happens.
Tacono, Frederick, Firestone, Longmont.
Are we going to do Erie in that one or no?
Nope.
No Erie. Berthoud?
Berthoud.
Johnstown.
Okay, anyways, that's 6 right there. I might have a couple more, I can't really remember. But those are all places that, to be honest with you, even as locals, wouldn't have been somewhere we considered before.
Oh,
I
wish I would have invested in Tacono,
oh my God.
And I looked at doing it like 8 years ago, and I was like, why the hell? What was I doing?
I know.
Oh man.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, the home values are going to increase in those areas too. So if you're thinking about coming here and you want to increase your value, you're going to probably want to check out these. It might be low now, but it's not going to be in the future.
Yep.
And so we're going to cover those series. So number 7 is don't choose, go in the middle with us and have the best of both worlds.
Yep.
And if you're interested in that, you're going to want to subscribe now and hit that notification bell because right after Fort Collins, we're going to take you through every single one of those.
Yeah, guys. And like I said, if you are planning on purchasing real estate here in Colorado, say you're coming into Colorado or you already are in Colorado and you're looking to move elsewhere, give us a call. I'm going to put the phone number in right down below again. Like I said, we love doing these videos, but even more, we love helping you with your real estate purchases. So until next time, we love you.